Hello, Malaysians. Today I'm without my cap. As a matter of fact, the reason why I wear the cap is to identify the clip for the purpose of uploading to Facebook and to YouTube. But I don't do much with YouTube these days because um, it's it's too long, too difficult to upload on YouTube. So I concentrate on facelift, which is much better. It's very simple to do on facelift. This morning, I'm going to take to task um, so-called intellectuals who have written on the Malaysian media on the sorry political uh, conditions, political and social conditions in Malaysia. These are the people who think they can bring about change by writing articles, pinching the government a little bit here, pinching the government a little bit there, and think that they are able to achieve reform from their little pinches here, pinches there. Huh? Uh, no, the UMNO government is not given to this type of intellectual irritation. I'm referring to people like um, N.H. Chan, M. Shankar, and these are the two people I know. And of course, there's this other person who never voiced any of his opinion. I mean, an old classmate of mine in University Singapore, Vora, who's retired now, I believe. But the person I have the most respect for is a guy called Sakmonkol 47. I don't know why 47. Is it AK-47, like a machine gun? But anyway, Sakmonkol, he writes very well. I enjoy reading him. But there was one other person who I upheld as my hero, a guy called RPK, Raja Kamaruddin, or whatever. He was, as a matter of fact, he came from the same old school as I did, from the Victoria Institution, Kuala Lumpur. He writes very well as well, and I enjoy reading him. And when he started out, he was very sincere in trying to achieve change, in trying to achieve reform. But recently, I think RPK has been purchased. BN, Najib maybe, or somebody must have bought over RPK. Because RPK now voices opinion which is slanted towards support for UMNO. But let that be as it is, because once you sell your soul to the devil, then people will see through you, and they will, if they won't spit on you, at least they'll ignore you. But for me, those who I don't agree, those who I think are traitors, I spit on them. Anyway, I have been devoting a lot of time on these three Penggulu judges who committed criminal offense because they didn't know the law. But I will now spend some time trying to wake up the Malays from their indifference. I think they sleep too much, these Malay people. But anyway, over the years, some thinking Malays, or quite a substantial number of thinking Malays, are beginning to wake up to themselves. They realize that all this shit talk about Bumiputra and the supremacy of the Malays and all that is just so much hot air. It doesn't achieve anything for them. I mean, the country, at the rate the country is losing money in wild and ignorant speculation, and the leader and the greatest promoter of this misfortune for Malaysia is by the name of Mahathir. Mahathir is still your hero. He is still wielding overwhelming power, his hold on you. And what great deeds has Mahathir performed to win your so devoted support? His greatest achievement is to drive the wedge between the Chinese and the Malays, to increase the fear of the Malays for the Chinese. You Malays, you one bunch of just dumb. What is it that you want from the Chinese? You have one very prominent spokesman, a guy called Ibrahim Ali. Everybody calls him Frog. And sure enough, he looks like a frog, because look at his neck. He's got a very short, stubby neck. I mean, his head is almost connected to his body without a neck. That is a man called Ibrahim Ali. Ibrahim Ali speaks to the Chinese like I am speaking to the Malays. If you cannot take me speaking to you, then how can the Chinese take Ibrahim Ali speaking to them without boiling over? Yeah, I'm here to make you boil over, you Malays, because for 55 years, no one dared to speak a word against you. No one dared to speak to the greatest evil that is in Malaysia, in the grips of this greatest of all evil, racism. Racism has never done anything good for anybody. South Africa, US, England, what? All these countries experience racism. Anyway, I don't know what it is that Ibrahim Ali calls, and most Malays have voiced in chorus, that the Chinese are not grateful to the Malays. What are we to be grateful about? We live by our efforts and our vision. And I say this to you Malays because that is the truth. Stand in the middle of Kuala Lumpur. Stand in the middle of Petaling Jaya and wave your hand 360 degrees around. how many of those properties belong to Malays? How many of those properties were developed by Malays? How many of those properties were paid for by Malays? Why should we be grateful for what? We are citizens of Malaysia, enjoying equal rights under the Constitution. Which part of the Constitution says that the Chinese owe the Malay constitutional right to be grateful? Grateful for what? We are the one who build up the wealth of Malaysia. Who runs the tin mines? Who runs the rubber estates? Who runs the businesses, the factories? Who owns them? Who runs them? And therefore, we are the creators of Malaysian wealth. And then you want us to be grateful. How? How do you want us to be grateful? Do you ask us as inferior Malaysians, second-class Malaysians, which we are, will you want us to bow to every Malay that we pass? Now that used to be the case with the Japanese. Most of you may not have lived that long, but I lived under the Japanese occupation. And they used to have these check posts on all the highways where they have Japanese guards with their rifles and bayonet attached, standing there. And when we get down, we have to bow to these Japanese guards, because if we don't bow, they will beat the shit out of you and torture you. How did they torture our people for those who inadvertently perceived not to have bowed to them? You see, they put you to stand in the sun, in the midday sun in Malaysia, and your two arms are outstretched, holding 2 buckets of water. How long can you hold 2 buckets of water in the hot sun, stretched out like 2 poles? Because if you drop any of the pail, they will use the rifle butt to smash your face in. That was what the Japanese did to us. Now, let me ask you, Ibrahim Ali, and all you Malays there, do you want us to show our gratitude to you and do like what we used to do for the Japanese? That is, when we see a Malay coming, we got to bow to the Malay. Is that what you want us to do? So now I say to my Chinese brothers and sisters, this is what UMNO wants of you. Do not even cast 1 vote for MCA, because MCA are the worst running dogs. They have given up the legal rights, the constitutional rights of the Chinese without voicing opposition. Without MCA, UMNO could not have achieved the 75% parliamentary majority to push through constitutional changes. So all the blame must fall on MCA. Do not vote MCA. Time is running out. I'll speak to you again. I'm just enjoying this. I'm going to say everything that the Chinese are not able to say. I'm going to be the first man to voice what the Chinese have not been able to voice in 54 years. So I say bye to you guys. I'll be back. I just love this experience. I wish there were more people taking on the internet. It's so simple. Just buy a computer and everything is there. It doesn't cost very much. All you need to do is articulate yourself, and that's where the problem is. And that's why I decided to speak without writing it out, because it takes time to write out and read. So what? It's only presentation. I mean, you write a nice piece so that people say, there you are, this guy, he speaks very well, he writes very well, and all that kind. What for? More important for me is to get through to you my message. It can be in any way. You see, this internet prevents me from voicing my other part, where the F word comes up so often. I just love the F word. But if I put the F word in, my video clips won't be posted. To that extent, I have been hobbled. Anyway, talk to you again. Bye.